Alright, I admit it. I did that spit take video a lot earlier than I should have done it, and as a result, I said some things that turned out to be, well, those range from slightly inaccurate to just downright wrong. So today I'm going to try to make amends for what I've done with the info we've received in the last few days. So let's begin right away with Cold Flare and Freeze Bolt, which are two of Kyoremu's signature moves. As you may remember, those moves have 140 power, 90 accuracy, and 20% chance of a special effect occurring, namely burn or paralysis. But there is a catch. Back in my spit take video, I said that it might have been because Kyoremu's base stat total was lower than that of every other mascot, with every other mascot being 680, which isn't true in itself because Kyogre and Groudon have 670. All the others have 680, though, from Mewtwo all the way to Zekrom. So, yeah, back to Cold Flare and Freeze Bolt. The problem with them is that they're actually Sky Attack clones. Yep, they're two-turn moves, just like Sky Attack. They have the same power, same accuracy, and as I said, I expected the special effect to be the same as Overheat or Leaf Storm or Draco Meteor, but no, they had to make those moves Sky Attack clones. I am really honestly pissed because now Kyoremu has three signature moves, Frozen World, Freeze Bolt, and Cold Flare, and all of them suck. Whereas Mewtwo gets one, finally, and it's going to rock the house with it. And while we're on the subject of signature moves, in my spit take video I mentioned a fighting attack that used special attack and physical defense for damage calculation, which is called Sword of Mystery. As it turns out, it is Kerudio's signature move, and it's learned by a special move tutor when you bring Kerudio as well as the Musketeer trio to that move tutor. And yes, they're based after the three Musketeers and D'Artagnan for some reason, though I don't really see a difference, but oh well, I'm just going to run with it. Moving right along, Dream World abilities are going to be breedable. That's right, I completely messed up on that one. I was 100% sure that wouldn't be the case given the way the games were programmed, but apparently they decided to throw in a little extra in terms of breeding, because usually breeding mechanics have been fairly static since they were first introduced in Generation 2, but now they decided to change things up a bit. You can't breed a specific non-Dream World ability on a Pokemon that has two of them, but you can breed a Pokemon with a Dream World ability. There are several possible scenarios according to which, well, you'll end up with the Dream World ability or not. I'm not going to go in detail because they still have to figure everything out. But the bottom line is that you can get the fabled Bullet Seed Technician Breloom, cue the crowd going, "Oh my gosh!" And you can also get Baton Pass Speed Boost Blaziken, cue the crowd going, "Holy shit!" But, unfortunately, you still can't get Poison Heal Roost Gliscor, since Roost, unlike Bullet Seed, hasn't been added to Gliscor's egg move list. And when I say Bullet Seed, I'm talking about Breloom's egg moves, because Bullet Seed was an old TM, but it's also been added as an egg move for Breloom. They saw it coming, the wily game designers. I definitely should start giving them more credit sometime. And finally, an item that we didn't know about at all a few days ago, and that took everyone by storm yesterday. That is the fact that you're now going to be able to see your opponent's entire team before the battle starts. Kind of like Battle Revolution, except you're doing 6-on-6 battles. Basically, what this means, a lot of people have complained that this was going to take a layer of skill away from the game. I say BS. If anything, it's going to take away a level of wild guesswork, because when you make your team, it's okay to have to prepare yourself for 600 plus Pokemon. However, when you begin to fight, it's really a very hard job trying to keep track of all the threats that your opponent could have, especially since they have one or two Pokemon that haven't been revealed yet. And I'm just going to give you a small example to illustrate my point. Shandera has Shadow Tag. We know that much. It's also a Ghost type. So basically, if we didn't get to see our opponent's teams beforehand, then that means no one would dare using choice items, fighting moves, because otherwise Shandera would just come in, start setting up 6 Calm Minds, and then destroy your entire team while you're completely powerless to stop it, because you're still trying to close combat it into oblivion with your choice item while it's setting up. So that's just one example, but go read any war story on Smogon, and it's always going to be the same thing that comes back. My opponent still has a few Pokemon that aren't revealed yet, so what do? Do I prepare in case this one pops up, or this one, or this one? And now that there are over 600 of them, it would just be outrageous to expect everyone to prepare for every single threat out there. It's just basically, as I said, blind guesswork. So in a way, I'm glad that's gone. So I don't think it's going to take less skill, it's just going to take a different kind of skill. You're going to be able to see your opponent's team at the start, and you're going to be able to elaborate a game plan, so will your opponent, and the winner will be the one that succeeds the most in following that plan. So it's just completely changed the kind of skill that's required to win a battle, but not necessarily the quantity. So you might have some battlers that used to suck in the first 4 generations that are going to be a lot more successful now, and likewise you're going to have really good trainers in the 4 generations prior to this one that are going to struggle a little more, but I don't think they're going to struggle that much. You don't become a bad Pokemon player overnight, but it's still going to take everyone a little while to adapt to. And incidentally, this change right there may be much more of a leveling factor than just having an issue dex with entirely new Pokemon ever will. Irony, sweet irony. And another change this will bring about that I really like is that the lead metagame as we know it will be gone. Now, a lot of people agree that the lead metagame of Generation 4 wasn't particularly healthy, especially with the dominance of Stealth Rock, but this means that, well, you will see a lot less Stealth Rock running around, since now you'll be able to lead with anything on your team, and you're probably going to have several Pokemon that are able to lead in order to be able to counter your opponent's threats. So, as a result, you're not going to pack Stealth Rock on 3 different Pokemon, and as a result, we're going to see Stealth Rock and as well scouting moves like U-Turn. You don't need to scout for unrevealed Pokemon since you're going to know them from the start, and that's a good thing as well, since Volt Change has been introduced. It's an electric U-Turn clone, so that's good news that it won't be as dangerous as U-Turn was in Generation 4. So, don't knock it till you try it, it's all I have to say. And on that note, Smogon is planning on starting the Generation 5 metagame with no ban list whatsoever. Everything is going to be allowed, and after that, they're going to ban the more broken stuff, a lot like they did with the underused revamp in the middle of Generation 4. So that's basically how it's going to work. And of course, their intent on speeding up the process compared to the suspect tests of Generation 4, which took really long. And I would also, don't panic, I'm certainly expecting some Pokemon to be banned after 5 or 6 days. Like, remember what happened with Emerald Deoxys during Stage 3 testing? It was so obviously broken that they didn't even need a vote, and they let it take a hike straight to Burrs after 6 days. So, as has been said several times before, Generation 5 is a complete reboot, even in ways that we previously couldn't imagine. And just to throw it out there in conclusion, you've been many to tell me that I sounded different in those last two videos. Well, you are absolutely right. I changed my microphone because my old one simply wouldn't work with my new computer. It would constantly produce an amazing amount of static. I might show you sometime since I have it right next to me at this moment. But yeah, the static was just too much to bear, and I really want to make a product of relatively good quality, so the static definitely wasn't going to accomplish that. So I bought a headset with a microphone on it, and there's one small drawback though. It's that when I pronounce the S's like this, it sounds like I'm missing a few teeth, and I don't really know why, because that's not how I sound. But don't worry, I still have all my teeth. It's just that this new microphone that I have isn't really recording the S's properly. I have absolutely no idea why, but I guess I'm gonna have to make do with what I got. So this is all for now, I guess. So I bid thee farewell and expect some new Let's Play videos very soon. I'm not telling you when because I don't really have an idea, but the hiatus is going to come to an end very soon. So I'll be seeing you when the time comes.